When a person closes their eyes, initially all that is seen is darkness. When you close your eyes, you see darkness. And it is only when keeping your eyes closed, mind you, that when you begin to think or have thoughts, images form, and the darkness is dispelled. And that is the power of your consciousness, of your creativity, of the light that you are, of the light of consciousness, the power to create, to dispel darkness, to create within the form of darkness. Darkness is the context. It is not evil. It is just the foundation of God's mind, the creative creatrix matrix. Now, conversely, when you open your eyes and you see this world of images and forms of the third dimension of harmonic universe number one, of very low dense frequencies, well, for the most part, that world has been created for you. That frequency has been created in the form of mass media, news, all of the elements that go into creating and maintaining a low density of consciousness, of awareness. And the forms that we see, by and large, have been created for us. Certainly the narrative and information. Now I'm sharing some information about military veteran suicides and how veterans consist of roughly 13.5% of, veterans consist of 13.5% of all deaths by suicide. And this is going from data that goes up to 2020. I think they started it around 2008, but it's a subset of data from 2008 to 2020. And you see that veterans only make up 7.9% of the US adult population. And I'm going to provide my input, my reasoning on that fact, the reason why the death rate or suicide rate of veterans is so disproportionate to the rest of the population, partly because of the nature of war and what goes on to in lengthy deployments and such. But a lot of what happens with veterans is when they get out of the military, in addition to having to step down into a lower sort of adrenaline-filled sort of life, is soul searching and such. And as information has came out about what was decidedly the defining factor of my generation, which was 9/11, September 11th, the terrorist attacks on the Twin Trade Centers. But the information has since come out that that was an orchestrated event by our government to create wars of imperial aggression. And when you have mobilized a democracy, which is essentially what happened, a peace-loving people that were just going about their business, which was the United States, listening to heavy metal and everything, and playing their guitars and wanting to start bands. Well, then you had this horrific event happen that was created by our government, by the controllers of the government, the same controllers that are still in office right now that are engaged in a showdown with the state of Texas. Those people are the ones who created this horrific event based on lies, based on Luciferian mass ritual magic. That's what 9/11 was all about. There are higher dimensions to that event. But what happens is when you have the truth becomes let out over a period of time, and people realize that they were gaslighted, they were lied to, and they were sent to wars of imperial aggression based on lies and black magic by the Luciferian cabal that was in control at that time. So the point with that is we've all been lied to at one level or another. And that group of people that was responsible for this Babylonian black magic, that's responsible for the Babylonian dark money magic, that this debt system that we've all lived under for some time, are known as the Khazarian Mafia. And they basically are name stealers and cloak themselves when in the religion of Judaism. And so there's a lot of truth that's coming out. A lot of people that consider themselves Jews, and really don't know much about that, but they're Jewish, and then kind of cloak themselves in this victim mentality of what Israel has was created under, and has created their wars of imperial aggression, which is just the Middle East version of the U.S. in that part of the world, maintaining that goal of world dominance under this evil cabal. Well, I bring that up because we have to be very careful with our sources of knowledge, and I want to share someone who I believe is a person I've referenced in the last 2 videos I've made with the Kosher Torah online, BibleStudy.com. With and let me just share that real quick. I hope everybody's doing well. This is just sort of hopefully it's not too meandering, and I make a point with all this. Let me just share this. So, and here's the document from Ariel Bar Sadak. And this is, I'm going to end this video with a positive note. But this is who I consider my rabbi. But I believe even a person at his level is understanding the level of deceit and lies that are involved with their identity. And this is taking nothing away from this man and his spiritual technologies, because I believe he's a pure soul. But even someone at his level is still kind of wrestling, or I believe, and this is purely my speculation, with identity, with the with the relation to Judaism and Jews and all of the history of that, and the state of Israel, because Israel, and I don't know exactly what's going on over there right now, but there's a huge, demonstrations against their current leader and all that, and what they're trying to make happen in the Middle East, which is the fulfillment of the literal superficial biblical prophecy of this age, which is World War III and the ushering in of all that. But see, all of this is from the mind of God, and this is unfortunately a lot of veterans that have taken their lives and because they realized they were lied to and manipulated to go engage in wars of imperial aggression. I believe that there's a lot of people that are still in the days ahead, as this mass disclosure comes out about the reality of the illusion that we've all lived under, will be doing a lot of soul searching. But with this gentleman, I believe even he has to come to grips with the fact of his support of Israel and what's going on. And I don't understand everything, because I do believe that everything is from the mind of God, that God has a plan, and what's going on in the Middle East and what's going on in the world. And I believe that there's going to be mass conscription in the UK, like they're going to start drafting folks in the United Kingdom and as well here in the United States. Now, all this could change dramatically in the days ahead, because the federal government has sent troops down to Texas, and there's a big standoff down there. So, I don't know, even a week from now, things could be massively different. These people could be taken out of power. They very well have already been taken out of power. And this is all just a show to wake the rest of the people up. So, and perhaps that is what I'm attempting to do now, is to show the subtlety and the complexity of this world when you open your eyes to the lies that have been created for us in this illusion. And that's what I was trying to use the analogy, as when you close your eyes and you see darkness, and then you create through your own power of consciousness, you can create images and within your mind, and with energy and intent, you can manifest that into your 3D existence. But you see, what you contend with is this Babylonian black magic, high technology black magic, which was the same black magic, the same dichotomy of existence that took place in Atlantis. So you have these this reality that's been an illusion and created for you, and I believe it impacts everyone. But when we understand that all is from God, and I'm going to share now this statement of 42 principles of the kosher Torah school from my rabbi, and he says, "Let it be known by the following statements, the principles, beliefs, and truths that I hold sacred and upon which I have built the kosher Torah school. I believe in God. It is because I believe in God that I'm also able to believe in my fellow man. I believe that God created us all, and in spite of our differences, be they those made by God or those made by us, we are all children of God, created in the divine image. I believe that being created in the divine image gives us each a responsibility and obligation to respect one another and to care for one another. That is above all." So you can see automatically that this is a very highly developed, these statements are godly. And but the Jews in name only, the Khazarian Mafia name stealers that are basically the element that's in the Ukraine and what Russia is, has been battling against on this whole showdown between good and evil, the white hats and the black hats and all that. That is the stronghold of the Khazarian Mafia, the Jews in name only, the ones who cloaked themselves when the Russian, at the time, they came to that area where the Khazarian stronghold was and said, you have to choose one of these three religions, Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. And they chose Judaism, but they practice a form of it's Babylonian Satanism. They just used the trappings of Judaism, but they were still worshiping evil, their dark god Baal Moloch. And these are the people that have been in control of this government since they created the Federal Reserve. And so, if any of this makes sense to anybody or not, all I can say is that your consciousness is divine, but it is incumbent upon you to be a seeker of knowledge, to dispel the illusions. And that is why I've been trying to stress the power of your consciousness to, one, maintain your stability, the foundation here in this realm of the fallen 3D harmonic universe, number one, to preserve your safety and your sanity so that you may have a foundation to grow and expand your consciousness. But he, picking it back up with this document, I believe that God is the origin and originator of all things, because yes, even with the horrific evil that people have are going to learn about in the days ahead, we have a choice. We always have a choice, and I believe that ultimately all of this has been created with a very high level design to grow souls, for people to grow their souls and thus their spirit. And and one quick thing, I think I'll stop sharing this document. But in this day and age, the Antichrist spirit is it's because everything's being promoted in the fact that it's okay. Oh yeah, indulge all your vices, live how you want to live. You're entitled. That is your civil rights to and it's basically all the energies of the lower three chakras that are being amplified, are being targeted, amplified, and exploited. And but see, there's more to life than that, and that is part of this great disclosure. So hit the subscribe button, and this was just something I tried to unpack, and perhaps in not so eloquent manner, but in the days ahead, I believe I'll be able to streamline this information a little bit better. But this is the kind of thing that excites me, and learning this information, reconciling this information, assimilating it, and all the while manifesting my version of heaven upon earth. I hope this video finds you well and that you're able to manifest your very own version of heaven on earth. Hit the subscribe button and leave this video a thumbs up, as it indicates to the algorithm that heaven is now to be manifested upon earth. Namaste. Namaskaram.